Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first video on Outer Rim Media. Today, we are going to be giving my reaction and review to the Mandalorian and Grogu movie that just came out for Star Wars. It's a few days late than normally for future purposes when I do reviews on games or movies or TV shows that come out for Star Wars. I was out of the country and I'm just now back, but we are going to do a review on it. We're going to take about a minute or two and talk about a spoiler-free review, just talking about my general thoughts of the movie. So if you have not seen it, you'll be able to understand if you should or should not. And then if you have seen it, we'll talk a little bit more about my favorite aspects of the movie and where I think Star Wars can go from here. So if you guys enjoy this content, Star Wars content in general, make sure to subscribe to the channel and let's go ahead and dive into this review. So just to give a couple of words and thoughts on this movie in a spoiler-free way, I thought this movie was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed being able to see the Mandalorian again and Grogu in this context. It was had really good action scenes. It has a story that starts and finishes in this movie. So it doesn't really set up much for what's to come, but I also just really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, had good Star Wars humor. Even a lot of the scene transitions and feel of the movie just felt more traditional Star Wars to me. And I really thought it was good. If you are a Star Wars fan and you've watched The Mandalorian or you've watched Star Wars for a long time, this is definitely a movie you should go watch. And if you are someone who has not really watched a lot of Star Wars, you can still watch The Mandalorian Grogu and actually just say, hey, this is a pretty good movie. And I think you can't always look at every critic that critiques movies and stuff like that. Rotten Tomatoes, I know they dropped like a 62% of this movie, but like the fan rating is like 90%. So fans are enjoying this movie. Critics just don't know what they're talking about. They think they do and they don't. That's a whole different topic. So I think this is a movie that if you are a Star Wars fan, you should definitely go check out and see. It's a lot of fun, good action sequences. It answers a lot of the questions that it sets up in the movie. And so if you haven't seen it, I would go see it right now. And if you don't care about spoilers or if you've already seen it, we are now going to transition into talking more about the movie in detail, going in three, two, one. You have been warned. Okay. So this movie picks up not too far after the ending of season 3 for The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian and Grogu are just kind of running missions for the New Republic. And it pretty much feels like he's doing what he was doing before he met Grogu, except just for the good guys now going and finding these people who are part of the Empire or still trying to have big stands against the New Republic and kind of putting them down, which is pretty cool. And so he is going around with Grogu, and you're seeing Grogu get in on the action. It's super fun. And then we have Ward kind of come into play, who's like, she's the one sending him out on these missions. And she lets him know that the Hutts are looking for him. And the Hutts are involved with the twins, which we've seen before. More recently, I believe, in the Book of Boba Fett. So I'm really glad to keep seeing the Hutts around. I mean, this is not too long after Jabba. And so if you really think about the Hutt Empire, that you know it is, and how powerful of a figure Jabba the Hutt was when he did die in episode 6, Return of the Jedi, it really does make sense that there's a power grab here. And we kind of see the effects of that in other Star Wars content, but really also in this movie too. We also can see Rada the Hutt, who we haven't seen since the Star Wars: The Clone Wars movie in 2007. Jeremy Allen White plays Rada, and Rada is actually one of my favorite characters in the movie. Kind of having on that big story arc of he does not want to live up to the Hutt's name. He doesn't want to be involved in the crime. He wants to kind of do his own thing, be stand up, and he doesn't especially want to be known as Jabba the Hutt's son, which he is. And so the Hutts are kind of trying to get Mando to go find him so they can kill him, but Mando doesn't know that, and Mando is just trying to do what he thinks is right because he's trying to get um, info on General Coin so he can be able to help out the New Republic in that way. We get to see some really cool action scenes in the arena with Rada and Mando. We also get to kind of see like the game "Did Jarrett Come Alive?" the hollow chest that you first see in the Millennium Falcon episode 4, New Hope. And that was really cool. That was one of my favorite scenes was the arena scene. And all the beasts are escaping and they're kind of like just escaping in this chaos. I love seeing Zeb in the movie, and some people might argue that he didn't get a lot of time, not as many talking scenes, that he was not able to be kind of like in that front character. But I think it's really cool to kind of see him as a side character. We don't, if you have the access, which I know if you haven't seen the Star Wars Rebels show, then you wouldn't. but you have access to go see about Zeb and to learn about Zeb and to know more about him, to where it's really just more of a nod, one, to the Star Wars Rebels community, which Dave Filoni has his hand in on this, and so he's able to make that pull there. It's like, hey, Zeb is still involved in the New Republic post Return of the Jedi. He is still doing good and doing exactly what you expect him to do when you saw his character build in Star Wars Rebels. But it's also just kind of, he's just an assisting character. And so we might see more of him in the future. Maybe he'll have some more projects he gets involved in, maybe his own project. You get to see the Razor Crest come back. That's one of those things I think, I don't know what the differences were there in season 3. I understand in season 3 that they needed to give him a ship because the ship blew up in season 2, and I kind of was okay with the ship blowing up. I love the Razor Crest. I was sad that it blew up, but I understood why, like what it led to. This It had that magnitude of the moment in season 2, which is one of the better seasons of this whole saga with the Mandalorian. I wasn't against them replacing it. I think it was kind of just like, hey, we want to give him the Razor Crest back, and we're gonna make it quick. And so, in the literal first 10 minutes of the movie, you have the Razor Crest again, and it's like a 2 sentence explanation that they just found someone who was selling one and they fixed it up. So the Razor Crest is back, and the Naboo fighter is still in his possession. When you go to his home, you're able to see it on the side, which I was kind of wondering, like, where's that ship at? Are we even going to acknowledge that it's there? And you do see it on camera, but they do get the Razor Crest back, which I think is pretty cool. And I really enjoyed the scene where Mando kind of like they open up the box and cut a couple wires, and they're like, "Hey, I can do this now, unbox. Like I'm not having any limits to the ship," and he feels at home again. That was pretty cool to me. But the movie's just funny too. I mean, Grogu is incredible and very funny to listen talk. And when he's not talking, but him interact with other people, talking to them, especially the creature. I forgot the creature's name or the species of the creature in the swamp on Nalhutta, where he's when Grogu is kind of navigating around, waiting for Din Djarin to wake up. And I really enjoy just kind of how he interacts with other people, nodding, shaking, waving, all of those things. But you really get to see the personality. I thought maybe at the end of the movie we'd see him speak and kind of hint towards that. I didn't know we'd also maybe get an idea of like maybe where we're gonna go with the Mandalorian because we really don't get that. But we'll talk about that here more in a minute. Now, Grogu was great in the movie. Din Djarin was great. We have another helmet off scene, and the only time we've really done that was in season 2, where we had the emotional scene with Grogu, and then the scene where he is going undercover in the Imperial base and he is trying to stay undercover with that regard. That's what's kind of kicked off a lot of the season 3 arc. However, he has his mask taken off again, and it doesn't completely undo everything he just did in season 3 because everyone that saw him without a mask is dead. And it was really just the Huts and the droids don't count. It is definitely cool to kind of, from our perspective, since we're not in the story, to see him without the helmet. Pedro Pascal playing Din Djarin, but also like in a significant fight scene, seeing the dragon snake, which was pretty cool. And so I thoroughly enjoyed it. I didn't think, like, some people might critique that there wasn't much setting up for the future, that we still really don't know where the Mandalorian is going head after this. But you know what? I don't think that was their purpose. Their goal for this movie was to not set things up. I think it was really just, hey, we want to give a good story of the Mandalorian and Grogu. I think there's going to be a lot more Grogu stuff coming forward. We'll still probably see some more Mandalorian stuff. I don't know if it's necessarily over yet. I could see a season 4 still dropping. There have been things in the times in the past. TV show 24, for example. 24 had a couple seasons and there was a writer's strike, but they were in a gray area. They didn't know really where to take the show. So they just dropped the movie. After the movie, they continue making seasons of the show based on what happened in the movie. I think that's what they're kind of doing here. I'm not guaranteeing they're going to drop a season 4. I really want them to, but they just wanted to tell a good story with the Mandalorian and Grogu. And I think that's what this was. It wasn't super deep. Um, didn't have a lot of these other factors. Grogu using the Force was really cool. There were some moments where he's really starting to show like, hey, he is a lot more developed than he was in season 1 with the Force, but also just even walking and the things he'll do and his awareness and understanding is super cool. But it's just a good movie. I think this is just a good movie. And if you like Star Wars, if you've enjoyed the Mandalorian show, then you definitely need to go check this movie out. And I would go do it pretty soon. So that's my review. It's nothing fancy. It's nothing crazy. I think it's good. There's not much you can complain about. And people that do complain, I'm just convinced you're just nitpicking, honestly, because there's not many flaws, I would say, in this movie. If you're really looking for flaws, I'm sure you can find it. But if you walk into the theater just wanting to see a good, entertaining Star Wars story, you're gonna see it. It was pretty cool, and so I'd go check it out. The Mandalorian and Grogu in theaters. It's gonna be super cool. I can't wait to kind of see what comes after. My hope is that we get a season 4 of The Mandalorian that kind of shows the next big saga. Seasons 1 and 3, 1 through 3, all were connected with Moff Gideon as the villain, and so I really wouldn't mind to see like a new villain, a new big thing, maybe even dare I say, continue to tie in the Star Wars universe of the Ahsoka show going on. Ezra and Thrawn are back in the picture and are in their universe, or dimension. I don't want to say dimension, but part of the galaxy. And we know Ahsoka's in a separate spot. We still got Boba Fett out there figuring out what he's doing. And so there's so many other things going on during this time I think they could do. And if they want to try to connect these things, kind of like what they did with the Book of Boba Fett, we saw Ahsoka in The Mandalorian before. I would love to see that if they can set it up. It's really just all up to really Pedro Pascal, I think. How much longer does he want to be the Mandalorian? That's a big deal. And so we shall see. But that is my basic review for the movie. I really enjoyed it. I recommend all Star Wars fans to watch it. And this is going to be what you see on this channel going forward. You're going to see reactions and reviews to the movies or shows that come out, trailers for big games or movies coming out, for Star Wars TV shows as well. And I'm very excited to embark on this new journey, Outer Rim Media, making Star Wars content here on this YouTube channel, posting shorts of different rankings and things like that. So make sure to subscribe if you want to see short form content, but also these videos like this. And so thank you guys for checking this video out. If you haven't seen it, I would make sure to go check out The Mandalorian and Grogu in theaters. I'll see you guys later in the next video. Peace out.